Hi everyone, this is Juliet here. How are you doing today? We're on a very windy. I'm just seeing now as the video goes on, it's very revealing on my. Yes, I shouldn't do this on live, should I? Ah, dear, I should get everybody stirred up. So it's like as I see myself on the video, suddenly I see all my imperfections. So Brigitte, we have a lovely Brigitte here. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thank you. We've had some amazing days and I managed to get them all started thanks to the help of a friend, a couple of friends who came. And then I ended up helping them to get their bus going back home. So together we had issues with our batteries. But it's okay. So the mowing is started and I have most beautiful violets in so many areas of the garden. I love their presence.
Oh, that's wonderful.
They give so much joy. Hello, Jack. Hello, beautiful.
So, yes, chat. Who's here? Who's here?
Hello, Julie. Hello, Julie. If it is you, Julie, Marianne MacDonald Woodstone, no, it isn't you.
We have Marion here. We have Jack here.
Yeah.
Oh, and what's happening with YouTube? They said an error occurred. I think it's going to repair itself, hopefully. So, yes, I think Jack must be on YouTube anyway. And
Carol, good morning, beautiful, darling Carol. I wonder if you're moving out of winter now, if the snow is starting to melt where you are. Oh, hello, Melanie. Hello, beautiful one. Because here I was just sharing with Juliet as I was doing the mowing once it got started. I have carpets of violets and it's just a glory. And a while back, the wild plum trees were covered in white bloom and the sweet fragrance
oh
is
gosh, that reminds me of my plum tree in the garden in France at this time of the year. It's so amazing. I really miss it. It gets totally covered with blossom, and it gets so filled with bees that it's just like a huge amount of humming that happens as I watch this beautiful tree.
So Jack is saying you're live on YouTube, or must be YouTube and Facebook.
Is it live on Facebook, Jack?
Yes, he's saying on YouTube. I don't know if that's YouTube.
No, I think you mean YouTube, don't you, Jack?
And Abigail, good afternoon, beautiful wise ladies. Good afternoon, Abby.
Carol, hi. Sunny and daffodils coming out. Thank you for the beautiful picture of the violets. Yeah, spring is definitely happening, isn't it? All the way around the world, and we have March winds here. It's just like non-stop winds, days and days at a time, it seems.
Well, yesterday I posted beautiful video. I mean, very short. And I met this very elderly lady and she was just weeding after her husband had been using the rotavator and she was on her knees. And I really just wanted to say hello. And there's this most amazing mimosa, beautiful golden mimosa.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
So, and the perfume, I mean, it's very windy, but the perfume, and it was covered with bees. And I love the sound of the bees because they sing of joy. They rejoice.
Absolutely. We have Melanie here. Hi, Melanie. Hi, how you doing?
So you loved the video on the mimosa. Well, Debbie, I'm sorry. I was a bit close to a road. I wanted to make it longer, and this lovely woman came to me, and she was in her late 80s. And I said, "Oh, you're really working so hard on your knees." And she said, "It's okay. I can stop when I want." And we ended up chatting. And it was just, I really feel right now it is just so important when you meet someone. How are we with whoever we meet?
Yeah, how are we with whoever we meet?
And then she had 2 beehives, and I said, "Oh, I can see you've got beehives. So you have honey." And then I can see you've got artichoke plants and leeks. So you're preparing your garden so you grow your own veg. And she said, yes. She said, it's so much better than watching the news on TV. And I
Oh,
said, yes. And I said, aren't they appalling? And they're so distressing and they're so fake.
yeah, Julie here. Yeah.
Hello, Julie. I have great news, Julie. Your parcel for America with your beautiful scarf left in a plastic envelope, and it's going through the custom, and it's left this morning. And I've added a little gift in there for both of you, for you and for Debbie.
So Debbie's just saying that our video looks so different. What do you mean different? I mean, yeah, there's this left-right thing going on. I don't know how that happened because it suddenly froze and it switched us around. So I don't know why that happened, but what else looks different? I'm fascinated.
So Debbie's saying, looking forward to a lovely scarf. Yes, I just want to say how deeply grateful I am for Juliet's tractor. And I was just shocked just now because Juliet mentioned the cost of the tractor, and it's going to take a lot more raffles.
Yeah,
So
tractors are really expensive things. I mean, it's usually about 10,000 or something to get but if you can get one for about 4, then you're really lucky.
oh, Debbie is saying, just hold on. She's saying, you're both filling the screen more. Oh my God. Is that invasive, Debbie?
Why would it be?
Well, it's a question, Juliet. Can I ask that question?
Why would you ask that question? Maybe you could say...
because I've just been through quite an invasive situation recently. So I'm just saying, if you've got someone right in your face, filling up the screen,
isn't it? That's a projection. You're going through something that you experience as invasive.
Okay. All right.
If everybody else is experiencing.
Okay. So Debbie, how is that feeling? Is it a good thing or is it too much? And she's saying, that's a good thing.
Good. So you look so happy today, Juliet, happy and radiant. I've been on such a roll today, Jack. I just got up this morning and it's like spring is here. There's so much to do. And I've just been working on all fronts because here at Healing Waters, we have the Healing Retreat Centre and the bookings and the therapies. We have the Healing Gardens, which is really jumping into gear at the moment. So we've been really busy with getting that promoted. And I'm just about to start my next training, my trauma skills training. So we've got 1 month before that happens. So it's like putting information out about that. And then we have the campaigning group, the Glastonbury Health and Medical Freedom Group. So I gave that a little tweak. I've been printing letters for pharmacists and for, who else? Pharmacists and optometrists about the, so letters about the adverse effects on people's eyes. So I got all those printed to send off tomorrow morning. So, you know, lots of different departments. We're a big department store here.
Yeah.
Oh la la, there's so much to do.
Well, same here. It's full on. Now, Debbie said, Debbie is holding a cross to the screen and saying, get back, Mabby. I'll just do that. There we are. I'll step back a little bit. Is that better? What I meant is sometime when we have someone that gets right. I had an experience last Sunday during the group, the Solaris group, where we were talking about how to connect within 10 kilometers with walkie-talkies and which numbers we could, the frequencies we could use without being charged. And then did we go for a CB or did we not go for a CB training? And then there's a little girl who was 9 years old. Her name is Eloise. She's beautiful. And we really connected. I played with her for about 20 minutes. And she was going through quite a lot. And playing with little lavender sand bags, making them like little dolls and getting them to talk to each other. It was like a process of resolving something around a conflict. And then she made me a beautiful drawing as I went back to the circle. And she sat beside me and handed me a drawing. And then a woman near me pulled it out of my hand. And I turned around and said, "Do you mind? Can I have a look at first, please?" So it's like sometimes we can be right in the face of someone. So that's where I was coming from.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? When we go through something intense, and we imagine that everybody else is experiencing that same thing, that same intensity, which may not be the case at all. It's like everybody's on a going through their own particular process.
Yes, they are. They are. They really are. And it's interesting what we put on the screen. You know, it touches us, and then we put something on the screen. And very kindly, I said, "Would you mind? I would like to have a look at it first. You know what she's drawn for me, and then I will give it to you." And then I discovered that she was teaching plastic arts. So she just wanted straight away to look at it. Anyway, it was just a little piece of information.
Mm.
So,
how is everybody? I'm really interested. Each week we kind of ask that question in a different way. It's just like there's so many things happening, and we kind of survive one wave of it all happening, and then it comes again. And now we've got this on the back of the whole hoax thing that we've been going through for the last few years. Now we've got another kind of really less than transparent situation, like the media putting out a lot of information about something happening that's not necessarily true, or it's at least not in the way that the media's portraying, which is a very intense thing to go through as well. So how are you all with that, and what's happening in your lives right now?
well, Graham is saying you should draw or paint a picture and we could auction it. That's a great idea, Graham. I will give it a thought. And he's saying, "I'm super duper," with 3 little crosses.
Okay, so Graham super duper. And
oh, Daryl, you lost your phone on a coach and you found a mermaid. You men, I so love your humor. Do you really mean you found a mermaid? That's wonderful. Did she have a long tail?
did she long hair?
And long hair? Yeah, but a mermaid needs a fishtail to go back in the sea. But
Yeah,
she's
how are you, Darrell? How are you? What's happening to you right now?
Dana. Oh, hello, Dana. You're in Texas, aren't you still? Not in Mexico. We're very good here. Living with my beautiful friend. We're going to make a fleur de lis.
Fleur de lis.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. So you are in the fleur de lis design. Beautiful. So glad. And how is Oscar, Dana? Abigail. Being there for my sisters, my beautiful niece is on high alert due to being in the military. Oh, yes. That's a huge, huge, huge piece, Abby. That's a huge piece, darling. Yes. Just offer a little space. Mm.
I mean, that's what it's done for all of us, isn't it? Put us all on high alert again, as if we weren't on high enough alert already. You know, huge levels of stress here. So,
Daryl is all okay. Melanie, I'm okay with it, but difficult to voice my opinion because the truth is beyond what mainstream people can cope with. Yes, we're aware of that, Melanie. Yeah. I wonder how would it be instead of going with the news on media, how just to align with what feels authentic with me. Where is my authenticity? And can I start just exploring that? Where is that in me? When can I be, rather than maybe going with what the family is choosing, which might be completely different from what I feel inside my body in a felt sense. Can I just stand and be true to what my felt sense in an embodied way is telling me? Not to watch the news, maybe not to speak about that because that's not relevant. Maybe not to have that thought because that thought is going to create um, maybe something for someone else. I'm just inviting that, that's all.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah. So Carol says, we have lots of comments. Carol says the universe offering more blessings and synchronicities than ever. Still imprisoned in Canada, though, trying to trust timing and the big picture.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah, I feel for you, Carol. I really do. But Canada is released. Mm. In truth, what's being shown is just the end of a stage play.
Yeah.
So Graham, I bought Debbie some dragons for birthday. All of them 32 centimeters high. Arrived.
With a broken wing.
Oh no. Oh, he's put the face upside down. Are you joking? Well, we're going to need to bring the dragons back. So maybe.
The dragon energy. So Jack says it's all designed to keep us in perpetual fear. Don't give it oxygen, live in love.
I agree.
I really think that's key. If we can live in love, and it's like we've got this stuff coming at us through the media the whole time, pumping us up with fear, if we take any notice of it. And how can we just like return to our own centers, to our own truth? Abigail says, I have a candle lit along with a crystal grid, sending so much love and peace to the world.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really important. And Melanie says, yeah, I am feeling to find a way of uniting people again after all the brainwashing. Yeah.
So many of us right now here are absolutely connected in a field of service that's going to co-create the new earth. That's beautiful. I love that. And thank you to Dana. Thank you, Dana, for the news of Oscar, who is an architect and who is doing just what he loves doing, which is building. Thank you.
And Graham says people are now associating the hyperinflation and escalating fuel costs with what is going on in the media today. They don't seem to understand the governments have been generating fiat currency for the last 24 months, and it is this driving the spiraling cost of living. Yeah. It's time to really just like link up all the dots, isn't it? It's like it's funny with this latest thing that's happening with the war that's happening. It's like now you can look at it if you like with awakened eyes, because we've already, so many of us already woke up with with the other hoax that went on. So we see how they use media and video and images that are totally artificial to stir you up, like images from like 4 years ago or 5 years ago, or totally fake images. We already know that they do that. So a lot more people are seeing through and beginning to link up the different dots, but there are many people that aren't seeing through. And the important thing is to create harmony and hold harmony no matter what's happening with anyone, and not to be trying to pump all our energy into people who are not seeing it, but just to build that energy with our, where we can, with that tribe and sending out love. I think that's really important. And praying. Dana says, go on, what are you saying?
I was just going to say we're going to move with Jupiter will be conjunct very soon to Neptune in the sign of Pisces, which is the sign of it's the last sign of the zodiac. So it's really the mystic, the surrendering. Is very important to surrender to a greater unknown, which has to do with the collective waters. So we are going to see two things: the collective trauma, justice, but as well feeling overwhelmed, but as well a lot of purification, a lot of meditation, a lot of unification. So my feeling is if we can stay, as many of you are doing already, offering a light, offering a meditation, staying very clear in your energy field, like fear brings your liver into activation and brings it down. So your liver gets sluggish. Your lungs, if you've got a lot of grief, they start getting gunged up, and that's the grief will take you down. So rather than fight that, just acknowledge that you're feeling grief or you're feeling sad. And maybe put a piece of music, maybe go out and look at a tree or look at the rain if the rain is there, and just look at something that brings you back to a calm energy.
Yeah, it's a trauma piece, isn't it? It's like when you've been in a huge amount of stress and activation, what an animal does is reorient itself to the environment and check out that it's safe, that the environment is safe again. So when we're highly stressed, if we can reorientate ourselves to our environment and focus on things that are soothing and pleasing, that will really change our nervous system and bring us back to this feeling of peace and calmness again. So it's important to actually consciously do that. It's like, what can I look at? What can I experience in this moment that gives me that feeling of peacefulness and calmness? And this,
So, go on, Juliet.
well, it's all about regulation, all about conscious self-regulation of the nervous system the whole time, isn't it?
It is. It is. But what is rolling out is really to keep you in fear. Why? Because we are moving into higher frequencies. Everything is shifting. We're going through a mega gate, a portal of energy, and nothing will ever be the same. However, the game is delaying it, delaying it, delaying it. And the way to delay that is to keep us in fear, to keep us in bondage. So grief is one of them. And it's okay feeling grief, feeling sad. I sometimes go and sit in my internal well. I sit on the ground and I listen to the grief, even right now, what's happening in Ukraine and in Russia, especially. You know, Russia being excluded, Russian people no longer knowing if they're part of the humanity or if they are just excluded completely, taken off this planet. So many people are feeling such grief. But the thing is, if we can just witness other people and hold that presence, then there is a connection that happens. There is a softening.
To keep the connection is so important, and not allow people to be turned into objects, to be othered, to be turned into less than. That we're all human here together, and there's this huge manipulation going on to make us fight against each other. So I would like to say a big hello to Vandita.
Hello, Lindsay. Hello, darling.
It's really lovely to have you here. So many lovely people here, and lots of
Zuleika. Hello, Zuleika.
We have Zuleika here.
Yes.
Wonderful. Hi, Zuleika. Lots of love to you. Big hugs to you. And Darrell says, certainly co-creating a new narrative here in Birmingham.
Fit for a new age. Never underestimating personal input multiplied by 3. Yes, never. Because the more we shine our light, there's something that enables other people to remember their light. That's the way I look at it. We just shine around them.
Oh, Abigail, yeah.
It's like someone who hasn't seen, like someone in Norway or the north of Finland, who's had 6 months of darkness. and you give them the sun, Mama mia, they just sit in that sun and just absolutely receive it. That's what I'm talking about. So if we walk in a shop, meet someone, or anything, it can be a being, it can be an animal. How are we with that?
Yeah.
So
How
yes,
are we? Keep shining our light, all of us.
yeah. So Lindsay, be the change. Yes, I was thinking of that because the violets right now, it's a carpet. I mean, they're shining, they're blue purple. Amazing. And the perfume. I mean, I'm quite tall still, and the perfume just
Wow.
fills the air. And what a gift for this planet. And so I'm inviting each one of you. Can we remember just to smell, to look? And I think it wasn't Lindsay, I think was it Abby? Yes, Abby, you were watching Robbie, that breast in our apple tree, in your apple tree, and feeling peaceful. Oh, that's so beautiful. Aren't they lovely? The way they just do that,
Beautiful.
and just move about their little wings. Yeah, I love it. And Zuleika kissing big hugs. Yes, I've missed you. Hope life is really holding you with much grace, Zuleika and Lindsay. Ah, so lovely to hear your wisdom. Reminder for my nervous system. Yes, let's be the change. Definitely, Lindsay, let's be the change. And Graham, you've written a very long one. The vast majority are hating one nation because they are following the mainstream. Such is the hold of the media. If they said stand on one leg and blow bubbles, people would do it. They need a daily dose of obedience. Wear this on your face. Think this, say this, hate this person. No need for structured thought anymore. If the internet went down, they would be lost. Yes, we may go into that place very soon, Graham, for maybe a week to 2 weeks when it will all go down. As I watched Thomas Hubel, who did, he offered the other night, I think it was Sunday night, it was quite late, an open live for Ukraine, and he invited people from Ukraine, and one man came from Russia, and it was so profoundly moving. I cried because he spoke of his experience that he no longer knew if he could be in his humanity. And he lives in the United States, and he was helping someone who had slid up the road, off the road, and kept the children and the family in his car and took them to the hospital. And then when he said he was Russian, the hospital people just treated him as if he was nothing.
It's so cruel. What they do is to divide people and to make one nation completely bad or one person completely bad. And it's like important to step back and see that this is a huge manipulation to set people against people. And here in the UK, they've just Wales. I just read this morning that Tchaikovsky, I imagine, is Tchaikovsky Russian?
Yes.
So they were going to have a performance of Tchaikovsky in Wales, and they've just totally cancelled it because I mean it's
so sad, because if you're going to cancel the most beautiful music of Tchaikovsky, then you need to cancel Dvorak, you need to cancel Rimsky-Korsakov, you need to cancel so many amazing. You need to cancel the ballet dancing from Nijinsky.
Don't even suggest that, Brigitte, because that's what they'll do. It's just like I'm just demonstrating how much they try to manipulate people into feeling.
But that when we see that, we know the profoundness of that music. I mean, Dvorak music, it's the most beautiful music, and it weaves all the different dances and the culture. And
I'm going to play Tchaikovsky on my Facebook page now. I'm going to put Tchaikovsky. See what? Oh my God! But it's important to step back from watching the puppets do their thing and focus on the puppeteers. And one thing, a big thing behind this is all the trafficking and paedophilia and the abuse and satanic abuse that's been going on for so long.
But that's being taken down,
and taken down, absolutely. And this is what I do want to report that I had was shared with me the other day.
Be
Most
mindful. Be mindful.
of what I say, yeah,
Be
that
mindful.
be mindful that most of these things have actually been taken down already now. But what we're seeing is just playing out in order to still try and wake people up. But most of the stuff that's been really horrible is already down. And that we're already, the worst is behind us. I think this is a really important message. The worst is behind us, and that we're moving forward into a really positive new time of hope and human creativity, that human beings are really lifting up their vibration and their consciousness at this point in time.
So if I go back a little bit from what we just shared about the Thomas Hubel, the stories from the Ukrainian women were also heartbreaking. I totally agree, Julie. The first woman was in so much shock. She was in deep shock and flight, dissociation, and disbelief. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, it was such a profound sharing. And Thomas too was really very shaken, and he did share that. Melanie, we need to deprogram the brainwashed. Serious counseling is needed to debug the manipulation. I'm not sure that counseling is going to touch it, Melanie. I've got a feeling we're going to need a little help from the higher realms, because it's gone so deep for thousands of years, and we have to remember I am that I am. We're an ongoing strand of a fractal of the divine, ongoing in embodiment, living an experience, moving through different stages, life, death, and then reincarnating within this timeline and other timelines. So my feeling is the brainwashing is so profound and so much trauma. And now we're talking about cultural trauma, collective trauma. This is beyond individual trauma, which Juliet is very much, she's teaching trauma. I mean, she's doing the training very soon. So, so I just want to resonate with you, Julie, on that. And with you, Melanie. Yes, counseling is good for the people who are open to that.
Well, counseling, but addressing trauma, then you have to work somatically. You have to work through the body as well, because you can understand a problem or you can understand what's happened intellectually, but it's still not making any difference to how you're feeling, because you need to change the nervous system, and you can only do that through the physical senses, through sensory awareness.
That's exactly it. And that, I feel, is taking it beyond the counseling. This is really deep trauma work. So more attempts at separation. Yes, Lindsay. The authorities are so scripted. They will ban rushing for a bus because it sounds Russian. Yes, sadly, Graham. Abigail, it's the poor children that don't know what's going on. Oh yes, Abigail, I know the children are really, but I would like just to say something here on a soul level. Everyone that's in incarnation right now on planet Earth has already been with Lemuria and Atlantis, and has already made a choice to come from maybe other timelines to be here at this time to help planet Earth and co-create the new Earth. This is what even the children. So we have to trust that we can hold enough light for those children. And yes, I know, I really hear the children that have been abused beyond abuse. I've worked for over 25 years of my life with that, guiding their souls back. And yes, I can say I've been grieving for over 30 years.
Yeah.
But that's a field of work. We all have a different field of work.
I was just seeing today, it was really shocking, a very old video about Edward Heath, the Prime Minister that's the paedophile.
Yeah.
and Jimmy Savile and like that was never. I mean, it's almost impossible to. Well, it has been almost impossible to get any justice on that because our courts are so completely corrupt. Our government's so completely corrupt.
Yeah. But
And
it is coming out. But if we had been, well, I wanted just to resonate with that, because when we are in our bodies, in absolutely, we feel, because we are in our body, we are feeling. Then Jimmy Savile, when I was living in England, I always felt nauseous. And there were different people coming on TV shows. I had to turn it off because I would feel nauseous
nauseous to see him.
to
Absolutely.
see their energy and to feel them. And he
Yeah.
was not the only one. So many were already being very compromised, and many were compromising by working there, other people. So it's huge what we are now. What's coming to the surface is huge. And yet it's so profoundly wonderful to be alive at this time.
Yeah, the truth is actually coming out, and there's
Yeah.
so much has actually been there, but we also were unconscious of what was going on, and now we're much more aware of it.
Well, this is where Jupiter and Neptune together in Pisces is going to bring what's been underneath, but it's so big, we're going to feel overwhelmed
Yeah,
because it's been under the iceberg.
yeah,
It's been, when we see an iceberg, we only see a little bit and we think, oh my God, it's only small, like for the Titanic.
yeah. So Abigail says that man gave me the chills, and absolutely. And I was even from what I know already, I was very shocked at this video I looked at this morning about this yacht that went out with Jimmy Savile and Edward Heath on, and that they had so many children had been taken on that yacht. And when the yacht came back, a lot of those children were missing, and they did find children's body parts on the yacht. I mean, that is just like so shocking. And to think that this is like going on within our government and within our parliament, and it still is going on in the UK and around the world, that our government is a government of child abusers. Many of them are child abusers. And it's really, really shocking, really shocking. And we have to take it down. We have to bring this to an end.
But
I think
we have to do the work internally.
internally as well. It's
our own inner process, because we are the ones who have been journeying for thousands of years, and we need to reclaim the information that has been frozen beneath the ice. And that information is those parts of ourselves that went in shock. I speak of myself now, and can I have the courage? That's the hero's journey with Mars. Can I have the courage and the support? Can I reach out for support and say, I need help with that, please?
yeah.
And that's so important. Thank you, Debbie, for your long excerpt from Set. So when a man realizes that he himself creates his personal and universal environment in concrete terms, then he can begin to create a private and universal environment, much superior to the present one, that is a result of haphazard and unenlightened constructions. This is our main message to the world. And this is the next line in man's conceptual development, which will make itself felt in all fields. Yes, well, I wanted to share, but it's pretty big, on Lisa Rennie's latest newsletter, Energetic Synthesis. She shares a huge piece of how each one of us, we need to embody in a felt sense, each one of us, what each one of us carry, and bring back the pieces that have been frozen, because we are going to be moving into a totally different time clock, which is called the Rush clock, and different dimensions. So if you go onto Lisa Rennie, who is a star seed like me, she speaks of that, but it's a little bit complex. But she's put a very small piece, which is very, very clear, which goes back to Juliet, your work on when we embody in a felt sense, then it brings our nervous system back to calmness. And
Yeah,
when we are calm, we calm other people around us.
absolutely. So
Yes, Daryl, the Rouge clock. Yes.
I think it's ROCH, isn't it?
No, it's REUCHE, the Rouge, or RUCHE clock. And we're going to go with the Eucharist, Arista, which is like the Eucharist, but Arista. So we are going to be moving into different, we're going to be shifting frequencies. And to shift frequencies, our bodies are needing, we need to feel, and our bodies are going to be experiencing the changes. So what she was expressing, which makes total sense, we're going to feel pain in different parts of our bodies, because if we have, for example, worked too much, for example, with our hands or with our brain or with our back, then we might feel a tremendous amount of pain in those areas, because we are being realigned with staying in absolute perfect balance, no longer abusing any part of this beautiful vessel. That's our sacred embodiment. So she does address that. So there's a very short excerpt, but there is a very long latest newsletter, and you may need to read it quite a few times and just receive what resonates, because it's taking you into other timelines, portals of energies, which is more my field of work. So, and we'll have a look at it. Yes, you're welcome, Debbie, and anyone who wants to look at it. But please don't give yourself a hard time if you don't understand it. That's okay. Just remember, just take what resonates and let it seep through. She's a starseed, and starseed work is a very different work from different beings. And she doesn't speak just about the starseeds. She will speak about the beautiful aquamarine body of light, which is happening, and the crystalline. Okay. So,
She is saying, my body is setting strong boundaries, my face is red and inflamed, and I cannot get away with anything that is toxic for me, and my liver is calling for help.
oh, beautiful, Lindsay. Yeah.
So you might think about looking at the Roots brand of medicine that's just been created to support your liver and to really restore the body. That's really powerful, that medicine that's just been created by Dr. Christina Rahm. So it's very important for all of us to just really make sure our bodies are as pure as possible and away from toxic substances.
Toxic substances and toxic psychic negative charges that people are going to be, without realizing it, because of their own trauma that they carry in their own field, they might suddenly drop a bomb that feels there's an energy, a psychic energy charge that's toxic. So that's when you just set your boundaries. However, one of the things I've noticed on Sunday in the group where I was sitting with, some people, a couple of people, but one in particular, had red blotches around the eyes. And for that, I would we're not allowed to use the word. The nebulizer, the Omron nebulizer, would be great with the hydrosol, 23 ppm from Immunogenics. That's amazing to clear anything that's got to do with the ORL and the lungs, and even, I would say, the guts and the liver. I'm giving this a try with someone who had a stroke and who had herpes recently, who flared up, and with a right eye that was leaking And this person only used it 3 days, and his right eye is looking so much better. It stopped oozing. So I just want to share that information, because right now the key with each one of us, we are holding different pieces of information for each other.
So Lindsay says she has red blotches around eyes and nose.
It came up at COP26 and has not gone. Yeah. Okay. So there are a lot of products that are being used around those places, which are extremely toxic, including oxide of graphene nanoparticles, which I feel have been coming down from the chemtrails. So my feeling is, Lindsay, Omron nebulizer. It's pretty simple. It's about 65, 70 pounds. And then the nebulizer, you can get, the first bottle is about for 470 liters. I think the prices are much higher in England than if you go to the pharma market. It's a lot cheaper than if you get it from the immunogenics website. They are very expensive, much more expensive, and it's the same product. So I would really recommend that. I've been using it when I go to the enclosed spaces where they use extremely toxic products. So you've got a very sensitive body. I would personally, whenever I go back home, I use the nebulizer for a few minutes and clear my system. And I found that's very helpful. But I'm one of the elders. And but however, I know in the COP26 there was a tremendous amount of toxicity.
Yeah, it's important to keep cleansing, keep detoxing the whole time.
Yeah. So, and the liver, clean the liver. There is some very simple, if you haven't got a lot of money, herbs are very good to clear. But right now I feel, because of the level of high toxicity that's everywhere around us, this is really a bioweapon war. And we don't even see it. It's been kindled to cigarette smoking. You don't see that when you smoke a cigarette. In fact, it's really toxic for your lungs. You don't see it. And they were advertising it through film stars were smoking as if it was really glamorous, but in fact it's an illusion, because you kill your lungs and you create a bubble of gray energy around you. And then your beautiful field of energy is no longer flowing. So you're not engaging with anyone else around you. You're in your little bubble, and you end up believing that that's your life.
Yeah.
And it's the same what they've done with the COP26 and with any other place where there have been meetings. We find those products. Okay.
Yeah. Bitter herbs for the liver. Yes, this is such a wonderful time, the springtime, for cleansing the liver. So I don't know if you saw my little video about the gardens the other day, about the nettles. I mean, we have so many wonderful fresh little plants coming up at the moment that you can put into your salads and juice, and like dandelion, for instance.
That's free, isn't it? Dandelion is free. Another thing is artichokes, raw artichokes. We're coming into the season of artichoke, but that's a bit more expensive. But dandelion, or cucumber, you're saying, Melanie, cucumber is the best, as long as it's organic. Yes, liver. Another thing that's very good is the liver cleanse, which Juliet and I, we've been doing, but Juliet more than me, with the castor oil pack. And
the castor oil pack on your liver is very good.
Vorheard, someone is saying Vorheard. Is that hello?
Don't know who it is.
Is that Vorheard in Holland, in Dutch, Vorheard?
No, it might be.
I know in Norway it's Hvordan dag du tett, which is how are you? Hvordan dag du tett. And if you are Dutch with a name like that, Hadise Kanon, if not, maybe you're one of those that needs to be kicked out. Yes, nettles are amazing. I love nettles.
So yes, I did a little video about the nettles. They're coming up. Loads of nettles coming up in the garden. So good time to come down to the gardens.
Yeah, have nettles. Have nettle soup. You can have the most amazing nettles. Every day you can eat nettles, and it's free. Oh yes, DMSO. That is tree-based. That is remarkable for a number, detox, and other treatment. Yes, Graham's DMSO. Oops, something went wrong. Try reloading the page. I don't know. Can you see that? Yes.
No.
It's a scam, says Abigail. Okay, so you can delete that Hadith Canon. Okay, well, it's still there. Okay. So, Debbie, you eat most of the weeds from your garden. I love that. So you make them into a salad and organic dressing. Yeah, I can feel that in my mouth. Yes. And the cleavers too. And you can eat the violet leaves in your salad too. I mean, there's so much that we're starting to collect. And the dandelion flowers. You can make dandelion wine. That's something else, isn't it?
So nature is very, very abundant. That's the important thing. It's like, let's get out of our scarcity. Let's get out of this feeling of like impoverishment, because, you know, life is really, really supportive. The universe is very, very abundant. And thank you so much, Debbie, for sharing the Seth book to me, because like what you were just saying, Seth teaches not only do we create our thoughts, but we create with our minds, our physical bodies and our physical environment, and that it's as easy to manifest physically around us as it is to manifest our words. So it's really important to understand how powerful we are.
Yes. So, thank you, Lindsay. Saying thank you, looking forward to the nettles. Yes, and dandelions, Lindsay.
So they drink organic gin to go with the weeds.
Yes. Wormwood, Daryl. Yes. Graham, they marketed cigarettes directly at women. It made you look cool. Yes, I remember. And my mother started smoking when they went to the cinema with my dad. And she never did smoke before that. But she had a father who was with his pipe, smoking the pipe, which was different. And he used to smoke cigars from Havana. So that was wartime. In wartime, the soldiers were offered cigarettes. It's interesting, isn't it? How we corrupted the soldiers. And they were corrupted with the injections and the Rockefeller injections. And my grandmother, my father's mother, died from that. In 3 days, she was dead. So we are going round and acknowledging the way in very subtle ways humanity's bodies have been poisoned, and it's a choice they've made. But we can make another choice because we are light beings and we have the most amazing immune system. We're sublime beings. We don't need them. So let's go back to there's somebody who said something very special. Oh, we drink organic gin to go with the weeds. If you hadn't put that, Graham, I would have missed that. Ah, yes, you leave the dandelion flowers for wild bees. Yes, yes. Ah, and Debbie says she's glad you love this. I think I will get it. I will get that book.
Yes, you definitely must read it. So I'm reading every day. So the first thing I do every morning is I have an infrared sauna. So I have a little infrared sauna unit. And that's so good for detoxing the body. So I lie in my sauna and I read Seth. So that's the start to my day. And
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's why you look such a bright, shining light, Juliet. Now, Graham has just said when he was 12-year old, he smoked for a whole day and then threw up and never touched it again. I love that story. Well, I'm going to share one with you, Graham. When I was 10 with my sister, we went and collected hazelnut leaves with my brothers, and we rolled them and made them into cigarettes because we'd just been to the cinema and we'd seen those, sublime women and men. And anyway, we spent the rest of the day with our eyes absolutely crying, and we coughed for the whole night. We never touched it ever again. We never tried to make cigarette ever again. Yeah.
That's
So
funny to hear that story, Brigitte, because as a child, I also was like caught into this whole thing that it was really cool to have cigarettes.
because of the film, we only went to the cinema once every 2 or 3 months. It was a real treat, an outing. And it was only the advertisements, the adverts, where you used to see those lavish people and then their children around them. And of course, as we were children, we're just trying to copy, and just
Yeah.
explore. I feel it was more curiosity and exploration,
Well, children will always copy what the adults are doing, aren't they? So,
an exploration like climbing trees, doing naughty things. Yeah, exploring the boundaries.
yeah. Well, I also had an experience at a very early age with cigarettes, which was, I think I was about 7. We were very poor because I lived in the house of my grandmother, and she'd had 16 children. It was a little tiny house, 2 rooms downstairs and 2 rooms upstairs, and we all lived there. And one of my cousins who lived there, he used to buy beer. And in those days, you would get money back on the bottle
Yes.
after you had a beer or something. But he would hide the beer bottles up the fireplace in the spare room where there wasn't a fire burning. We used to get them. We'd pull them down. We'd take them back to the pub and get the money back on them, which was enough to buy 5 Woodbines, 5 cigarettes.
Oh gosh.
So I didn't do that for very long because it made me feel so sick and ill. So that was my little experience with smoking.
Well, we are on to toxicity and detoxing. Thank you, Vandita, for bringing that theme up because it's fascinating. Maybe, Brigitte Bardot, yes, with walnut cigarettes. What a picture. Yes. And Debbie, what a funny story, maybe, about the cigarette. I use cigarette paper rolled up with sage and onion stuffing inside. Oh my God. Oh my God. No, I mean, I do use onions under my feet when I'm ill. When I've got chest infection or fever, I will use chopped onions, put it under the feet, under the sole of the feet, put cellophane paper, sock, hot water bottle, bed. I do that for 3 days and takes the fever away.
So yes, how interesting how we get hypnotized by the media and how we were hypnotized by the media as children and how children are so easily influenced. So very important to know that and how we can make a difference now.
Yes. When my dad, Melanie, was a doctor, he used to be a doctor in the Ardèche. He used to go on skis with his dog and his rucksack, and he used to go and visit farms, deliver babies, and all that. And yes, onions and honey are good for sore ears. Wow! If anybody has here a recipe, I've got my friend who has. She can't hear. She's got cerumen, but so thick in the ears, and she's feeling horrible, awful experience because she's like in a bubble now, and it's cutting her off from the rest of the world, and that's an experience that's distressing her. So she's tried a new product which takes her about 10 minutes each ear, but it's only taking a little bit. And she's tried the Hopi candles, and that's not worked. So she manufactures a tremendous amount of wax to the point when she's not hearing anymore.
That's distressing.
It's very distressing.
So I wonder what the German new medicine response would be to that. So if we had Julia here, she would tell us what is it she doesn't want to hear or doesn't want to listen to.
It's not Juliet. It's not Julie.
No, Julia does the German New Medicine.
Sorry.
So Julia does is studying German New Medicine.
Oh, right. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I didn't know that at all. Okay.
What's the psychological thing behind any physical ailment? Is there is a
Yes. Well, I was asking this
psychological.
I was asking this lovely woman who's been through absolute lot, because this happened last year at about the same time. And what was the relevance of the time when she was in her mother's womb? What took place when she was 4.5 months as this little baby growing? So that's only a thread I put out to her. That came up as I was talking with her. But it's not easy to speak because she can't hear. Um, so I just ended up speaking with my lips so she could read lips. I'm pretty sure DMSO works on ears. Well, Graham, I think Debbie's got my email. If
I
you
think
can,
you have to. I do have to say that DMSO is said to be a wonder medicine. First of all, like we can't make any medicine. Let's make it quite clear on this program: we're not recommending any kind of medical treatment for anyone.
no, we're not at all. We're just sharing funny stories.
Absolutely. And the other thing is that DMSO, I have researched it, but if you have anything on your skin at all, it can take it very rapidly deeply into your body. So you have to be very careful with it, that it can take toxins or things into your body. So
Abby, are you going? You are sending hands and heart and hands and heart.
we are over time, Brigitte. So we are.
Oh, is that what it is? I'm sorry, Abby. I lost absolutely. I was gone for another hour, and I
We
don't
got
believe
so
this.
carried away with our little stories and things. I hope it's been helpful for everyone to just sit and share this little chatty space. I don't know if we've shared anything profound or anything, but just to come together and share some time.
Oh, DMSO can do that, even tattooed ink. So you have to know about it before you use it. Oh, you're funny. And I love your park drive where the world's worst. You were exchanging the bottles, the corner shop sold them to my school friends for 1 penny each. Yes, I remember going to Manchester station before going to university, 6 pence a cup of tea. And it was a mega big cup of tea. And when I'd finished, you would fill it up again. Come on, dear. Come on, dearie. It's cold today. Have another cup on me. Because she'd made the pot. Graham, I lost my eye in a car accident. Are you being serious? When I was 19 years old. And for 45 years, my eye was gooky. The MSO fixed it in a flash. Wow, Graham. That's a profound story. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm really sorry to hear that. Well, my friend who had the stroke and the herpes flaring in his brain, his eye is looking a lot better after 3 days of using the nebulizer and the hydrosol, which I feel is very safe because it's not directly being used on the body. So it depends on how sensitive different people are. But thank you for sharing. So to
Everybody
play
has their own unique. What's helpful for one person isn't necessarily helpful for another.
exactly what is good for one person can be absolute poison for another one.
We're all unique. We're all different, and it's time to go.
Zuleika, thank you both. Thank you, Zuleika, for coming through about you. So it is transdermal, and we'll take everything down with it. So you really have to know how to use it and in what strength. And the above book will tell you all about that. Fantastic show. Thank you. Much love to you both. Thank you, Jack. That's
And
why I never see eye to eye with Debbie. She has two, I have one. Oh, are you joking, Graham? Are you joking? Well, whichever way it is. I did receive and resonate with your sharing.
Okay, so we wish you all well.
Yeah.
Lots of love to you. Be well, be happy. And see you all next week. And Ina, hi. I didn't even know you were here.
No, I
So,
didn't see your name until now.
yeah, just an announcement before we leave. I start my trauma skills train in the next one on the 9th of April. So there's only a few weeks left. So I really appreciate it if you can share my post about the trauma skills. It's one opportunity in the whole year to join an absolutely amazing training that is life-changing.
I affirm, confirm, and absolutely assure you, Juliet is 100% safe to be and to learn what are boundaries, how to experience in a felt sense what's going on in your body, and move and go back to having a nervous system coherence. And now I'm going to process the collective coherence trauma because this is what's going on right now. So having done the advanced training, I'm able now to hold that at the next level. So Marianne is saying she loves spending this hour with you all. Thank you so much. It's such a beautiful tribe here. Mm.
Yeah.
And thank you, Debbie, for validating that Graham did lose his right, his eye. Mm.
And thank you, Vandita and Melanie and Zulika and Jack and Debbie and Abigail and all you beautiful.
And all those of you who will listen, be blessed and remember,
Jarrell.
No judgment. Let's just be in alignment with each other, be loyal to each other, be gentle with each other.
And to yourselves.
And to yourself. That's what I'm talking about. And to yourself. Namaste.
Namaste, everyone. Lots of love. Big love, big hug to you all.
Big love. Gentle love.